Oh my gosh, that's a lot of wire. So welcome back guys to the man cave. Today we are on modified Mustang. So as you guys can see, it's a wad of mess of wires here. Got a few over here, got a couple hanging down here. They're all kind of labeled. There's printed on there. Here's the fuse panel. What I'll be dealing with. And some instructions. Number list of all the wires. They're also numbered. Gauge orientation. Here's a wiring. That's all Greek to me, so yeah. Instrument panel wiring. This is going to be, it's going to be a deal. So that's what we got going on with that. And I'm slowly unhooking wires. I got this plate for the air conditioner. I'm probably going to have to modify that because it don't fit right. I'm trying not to get too crazy with the wiring on it. Trying to keep everything kind of labeled so I can see what's going on with it. Oh yeah. My dash. Oh my gosh. What a mess. So that's what I'm working with. Oh yeah, custom want to show y'all the custom dash panel. And here is the dash. Temperature gauge, which I have to feed back through the firewall. I hadn't done that yet because I'm still working on the wiring. But all the other gauges are out. I got this off of eBay. I'll have to do something with turn signal and high beam light. But this is what's looking like so far. I know, that light. I think I need to... Alright guys, so I got all my wiring harness out. It is right there on the floor, labeled everything as best as possible. Stuff coming off back here was fuel sending unit, fuel pump, and tail lights, and some speakers. So and I got everything kind of labeled on my wiring harness, so I know what wires that were left, where they went to. Labels everywhere, you know. Hopefully it won't be a total nightmare. That square hole is where one of the original wiring harnesses plugged through, and I'm going to bolt that fuse block right below it, and then I can run my wires through that square hole. We'll try that. So let's get this wiring harness in here. Here's the start of the, pretty much these wires are alternator, you know, your battery, your hot to the, from the fuse box to the battery. So this next bunch of wires I'm pushing through is temperature sending unit, oil sending unit, compressor. So I'm gonna push that through. Kind of got them a little bit separated. Maybe that'll make this a little bit easier for me. We'll see. Alright, I think this set of wires is all the headlights, parking lights, and you know, whatnot, a bunch of other stuff. Let's see if we can't get this wad through. There's a little block hole is getting grouted. Well, y'all, I'm feeling pretty good. I've got my wad of wires here, which go to tail lights, fuel sending unit, fuel pump, a bunch of other stuff, but it's all going to the back of the car. These wires pretty much kind of, I guess, hook up to, I'd have to read them, the column. Got another there. I think these right here are going to go to some gauges. Those down there go to a gauge, but the big thing is that the fuse panel, fuse block is mounted, and man, I'm happy about that. So all the fuses that I pulled through the firewall coming through, and I've got them kind of separated to help me out. All this right here wrapped around the front, that's just headlights, parking lights, horn, turn signals. So they're separate. This group right here, which was the very first set of wires, and that's the power wire, alternator wire. Got it running down here for the moment, over to the battery. And then this group of wires right here, that's all to temperature, oil, distributor, over here to the relay. So it's looking good so far. Total craziness. And I felt like I was taking my car apart after I just got it together and was riding it around and enjoying it. Got the new, and then I bring it in here and start tearing everything up again. I feel like I'm starting all over. Oh my gosh. Anyhow, guys, we'll call it a day. Work on this maybe tomorrow. So far, I've got my wires kind of sorted. I've got them kind of ran. Here's my horn wire, headlights, turn signals. I said 12.16 and 12.16, and on this alternator hot, there you go. So we're good there. We're hot. We've got hot. So let's head over into the car. Oh man, I know y'all, this is a disaster. This is, I guess, the main hot wire coming off the fuse panel. I reckon it goes to the ignition switch. 1216 there. This is the lighter auxiliary power, and it's all-time hot too. And here is a radio. So like if you had the clock, there you go. 1216. That one's hot. So I've kind of got semi-sorted. They are labeled. This is dimmer power. So I'll put it right here where the headlight switch will be. This is the wiper switch. And so I kind of got the wiper switch wire there. I think this is the fuel gauge. So I got it over here. Sort of got somewhat organization going on. But for right now, I know I'm hot. I'm hot to the fuse block down there. I think right now I am just I know this is probably nothing, but I'm going to go ahead and wire up this 12 volt socket and go ahead and get it mounted, and that'll be a good start. All right, so this wiring harness has been not that difficult, but yet difficult. I've went and labeled every one of my wires myself, but some of them aren't so easy to read, like those red ones. You can't hardly read those. and there's a couple other ones that were really hard. So once I figured them out, went ahead and labeled them. This is the GM style plug off this knockoff Flame River, I guess. And I just had to plug them in where they needed to be. I used the GM wiring harness diagram because this is a GM style 21 circuit wiring harness, universal. Everything seems to be working pretty good. I had difficulty with my ignition switch. Figured that out. I do not have a wiper switch. I've rewired the plug, the existing plug, but the switch is still bad. So sometimes when you turn it on and then off, they still stay on. So I got to get a new switch. Headlight switch, it's a new one. I rewired the plug on it. The only thing I didn't rewire is the ignition plug, and it's molded in there, so I just couldn't pull out the little connectors and put new ones in. So on the ignition switch, I just did my own individuals and shrink tubed them, so that way they wouldn't make contact on nothing. Air conditioning is in. I got a few things to button up. Shifter light, radio. I got to wire up the air conditioner. That goes. Go ahead and mount your fuse block. Go ahead and get that where you want it to go. Once you get that, you know, I kind of pre-gathered all my wires on the bench, but then again that didn't help a whole lot because it was still a mess. So then I started, you know, pulling all the engine, power, headlights, everything I knew that came up here. I pulled through the firewall and got it out of the way. Everything I knew that went to the back, tail lights, trunk light, third brake light, reverse lights. I went ahead and pulled that through the car back there. Fuel pump, power, fuel sending unit, wire. Just ran all that back there to get it out of the way. That way there wouldn't be so much bulk under the dash here. And alright guys, I know, still the same saga. Wiring harness, 21 circuit, universal, GM style for a Ford Mustang. Has it been easy? I don't know, I guess it hasn't been really too bad. I think the hardest part has been reading the wires. Some of the wires are very hard to see, so I don't know. I gotta wear glasses and I can't hardly see. You have to use a magnifying glass. That's really been the most difficult thing, is reading the wires. And anyhow, I wanted to catch y'all up on this wiring harness. I've made some grounds. I've had some trouble trying to figure out the ignition on it and a few other things. So let me just show you what I got going on. Situation, battery's on charge, but for my setup, which is going to be nothing like your setup, I don't even know what kind of alternator this is, but I got my exciter wire running over here to the I side of the relay. I've had to label everything, and you see, if you see pieces of tape on wire, it's because I couldn't read it, and when I did read it, I would label it with some paper tape and write on there, so it's easier for me to figure it out. Because some days I wouldn't come back out here to work on it for a day or two, and I would forget what each wire was. It's made it easier. Anyhow, so this is going over to the ignition, the key. This is a straight hot to the key, to the fuse panel. Relay, some of this. Anyway, I've routed all my wires around where, you know, the manufacturer routed the wires. So this is all the conglomerate, and I've concealed it in this. Anyway, I got my horns. They're running through with 2 horns. You can see it says horn. Got my headlights wired in, and they were easy. Three plug. They give you 2 of these, and you just wire it in like it was before. It says high beam, low beam. Here's my parking light and turn signal. Left front signal. That's what that says. Same thing for that one. I went ahead and put my ends on them, so if I ever needed to replace the light itself, I can just unplug it and put a new end on the new light. Alright guys, coming through. This was a lot worse than it's been. But ran all my wires. Of course, y'all have seen. There is my fuse block. And of course, I know this is on the wiring, but if you're doing a aftermarket heating and air conditioning system, you'll be able to take out that fresh air vent. That's where I got my room to mount that. Is the fresh air vent is removed. And these are all the wires that go, tail light, trunk, license plate, trunk light, fuel pump, fuel gauge. All that goes back there, and that's where we'll go. There's enough light. Here is tail light, turn signals, trunk light, license plate. No, these are backup lights. So, and that's another thing I'm doing on my 65 is I'm going to put 66 reverse lights in, so that way when I put in reverse, I have light. Who doesn't like light? But I'm not going to bore y'all anymore. I'm going to get after this, and we'll get back when I get some more progress made. Alright, so wiring harness is all kind of buttoned up. I mean, I could put some more of this wire stuff on there, and I'll put some wire stuff there. Just haven't finished it, but the interior is kind of done. It needs water, but we're just going to give it a quick fire up, see how everything's looking. Welcome back, guys, to the man cave. Today, great news. Modified Mustang is ready to go out the garage. I've rewired it with a 21 circuit wiring harness setup from Gearheads, and I installed the aftermarket heating and air conditioning unit from Old Air Products, and that has been a little bit of a task, but today, guys, ladies, gentlemen, we're gonna crank it up. A few things to take note though. Neutral safety switch is not wired up. I'll get there, I promise. Air conditioning Freon has not been added yet. I need to vacuum, but we'll get to that. But today I'm super excited. I got the front end. Y'all have seen it before. Old front cap is off. Air conditioning condenser. Let me show y'all. Oh my God, I'm excited. I'm excited. Guys, wiring harness is cool. We're gonna go some LED lights, possibly some LED turn signals and parking lights. Right now I got the OEM stocks wired up. Anyway, that's what I want to show y'all. Oh, you can't wait to see it. Y'all, this is so bomb. This is the dash. This is the dash. There's the air conditioning setup. I have 2 more vents to put in. I haven't done yet, but Also went with this aftermarket B&M Mega Shifter, ratchet style shifter. Cold startup for sure. Cold getting out of the garage with the new shifter linkage setup. Yeah, that's okay. We got the Hummer back there, so if anything goes bad, it'll stop the Mustang. Oh no. Anyhow, let's God, dude, let's get the show on the road. Let's fire in the hole. Zoom zoom. All right, guys, here it is. Cold startup on a 1965 modified Ford Mustang. Yeah. Finally get to clean up in the shop. Might just be able to find that 10mm socket up in this 10mm socket. Yeah, we'll never find that one.